Right. So good evening, everyone. So today workshop belongs to the SQL, right? So majority of the folks already aware of it, right? If you are guys are planning to move into the data engineer point of view, SQL concepts actually mandatory because while designing the ETL pipelines like Azure or AWS or a GCP, so while designing the ETL pipelines, so in case if you are expecting the structured data from the source system, maybe we are gonna write the SQL queries. Okay, so that is the reason. So you need to know about the SQL. If you know the SQL concepts, then PySpark concepts is almost similar only. Same, whatever the SQL having the concepts, PySpark also following the same pattern, like a SQL operators, SQL aggregation functions, and SQL joins. Right, same things actually available into the PySpark. Right. So pillar, if you're planning to move into the data engineering, especially Spark point of view, the main basic pillar is SQL. So you need to know about the SQL concepts, right? At the time of interview also, right? They will ask the questions related to the SQL, right? Maybe in once if you are entering into the project, right? So mostly we are going to work on the Spark point of view only, majority. But at the time of attending the interview, nowadays people actually are asking the questions related to the SQL. Okay, so here I'm planning to conduct the 2 workshops related to the SQL today and tomorrow. The reason in SQL there are plenty of concepts is there, so that is the reason here I'm planning to divide these workshops too. Okay, first today we'll discuss the all the ground level basics. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss about the interview point of view, right? Interview point of view, the way of giving the tables and writing the queries and the count of the inner join left and right with respect to the nulls and without nulls, and the way of writing queries, subqueries, and inner queries, and common table expressions, some other queries. Okay, so those part we'll discuss by tomorrow. Today we'll see the complete basics part related to the SQL.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Anna, yesterday's project నాకు రిసీవ్ అవ్వలేదు.
Try to speak in English if you don't mind. Please share your email ID in the chat. Okay.
Already I said my mail on.
Please post in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. So first, before beginning of the session, yeah, please.
Hello, Seven. There will not be the regular session after this, right?
No. Today only completed related to the SQL workshop.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So I'm starting from very beginner level on the SQL. So it may be boring for people who are already know the things. Okay, in case if you guys are already aware of the SQL concepts, if you want, you can ignore the session. Right. So first, I will start with the relational database management system point of view first. So relational database management system, RDBMS. Okay, shortcut we can call it as a right RDBMS. So this relational database management system you can treat like a one software. You can treat like a one software. Here we can create and we can manage and we can interact with the databases. Relational database management system having the right. So we have a server having the database having the tables, the table actually having the data in the form of rows and columns. So with the help of this relational database management, you can treat like a one software. Here we are going to create and manage and interact with the our databases. So databases means here we are storing the data in the form of structured data, right? Structured data. Okay, so the main key concepts while discussing about the relational database management system, first one is, first let me, anyway guys, I will share the notes, no worries. Table, I'm planning to start very basics levels. Row, table and row and column. Maybe some of the folks actually completely new to the relational database management system. And constraints, okay, so SQL. So the meaning of the table is, right, so here we are the table actually having the data, right? Simple, the table actually can simple collection of data. Same like we have Excel sheet, right? Excel sheet having the spreadsheets. like a sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Same like we have a table, the table actually having the data, right? So every table actually having the rows and columns, right? Rows and columns. Okay, here a simple like a single data item in a table. Okay, I will show you guys in practical manner. So column, we can call it as a field actually. So column, we can call it as a field. Okay, like a name, right? Age, salary, right? First name, last name, address. Those are comes under this, right? Columns. Constraints. So constraints means simple rules, right? Here we have a tables. The table actually having the data, right? So there are plenty of tables here we are going to handling. So there is a relation between one table to another table, right? There is a relation between one table to another table. So with the help of these constraints only, we are going to define the rules, right? Rules means I don't want to allow the null values. My data must and should be having the unique data only. I don't want to maintain the duplicates, right? Such type of things actually comes under the constraints. Means rules here we are going to apply. There are plenty of constraints available. We'll discuss one by one. So for example, majority, primary key, and foreign key. So this basics actually helpful at the time of attending the interview, guys. Okay, so we'll discuss it anyway in practical. And SQL means structured query languages. So for example, I have a database. I want to interact with the database, right? With the help of this SQL queries only, right? We are going to interact with our databases. Okay, let me create one relation database management system. For example, Azure SQL. We'll do the practical things. Azure SQL database. There are plenty of relational database management systems available, guys. There are plenty of tools available. Okay, in market there are plenty of tools available. Okay, each and every cloud having the majority of these tools. So for example, MySQL, and we have a PostgreSQL and MariaDB and SQLite, right? And we have this MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, SQLite actually open sources. Okay, this complete part belongs to the open sources. We have open sources and commercials available. I hope you guys are aware of the meaning of open source. Anyone? What is the meaning of open source?
It's a free of
It's
cost.
a free of cost.
Very good, nice. So, and we have a commercials, right? Commercials. Nowadays, interview process completely changed, guys. This panel actually asking only basics questions and one word answer only. So that answer must and should be, you need to give in a very fast manner. Okay, there is no late. So that is the reason. So commercials point of view, we have a Oracle databases and Microsoft SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and IBM DB2, and SAP HANA, right? So I just taken only few things. Okay, so right, depends upon the requirement, guys. Here they are gonna choose this services, right? It's either open sources or else commercial. All right, cloud, especially if we're talking about the cloud point of view, we have majority Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server. Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server. So this Oracle actually enterprise one. So this is highly secure and highly scalable. So scalable means, so based upon the workloads, here we are storing the data, right? Here we are storing the data, and we have applications and we have ETL pipelines. These ETL pipelines and applications trying to connect these databases and trying to fetch the data and trying to load the data, either fetching the data or else we are loading the data. These two cases actually happening in anywhere. In database means simple, guys. We are storing the data. Always we are not storing the data. Every day we are fetching the data, storing the data. Fetching means reading the data and writing the data, right? So while reading the point of view, while writing the point of view, scalable is important. It means automatically adjust these workloads. So we need a server actually having the database. In the database, we are storing the data, right? Maybe this data volume keep on increasing, right? Either increasing and decreasing. Okay. So the way of connecting to the database must and should be secure. Only specific peoples, right, who are part of this applications, who are part of this data science, who are part of this machine learning, who are part of this data engineering. Only these people's actually gonna connect these databases on secure manner. Okay, so we need to restrict other people's. The security part is important. Scalable part is important. Okay, we need every server. Server means simple. I have a laptop, guys, Windows laptop. Generally, Windows laptop having some configurations, right? Every system having the configurations, like for 8 GB RAM, 1 TB hard disk, i7 processor. Those are underlying need we need. Without these things, so there is no usage of this server, right? So if the server having the better compute, better storage, better RAM, better processor, then only we can see the way of fasting the data. But even though cost is very high, but here we are getting the benefits, right? Our day-to-day workloads. Okay, so while working with these databases, first we need a server. First, we need a server, right? So simple server. How many guys are aware of the meaning of the server? What is server, and what types of servers available in the market? Any idea?
So server is a virtual machine which basically when the user basically give the some input, it basically reflect from the virtual machine basically.
Yes, thank you. Server simple like a one software or a one mission, right? That mission or a software actually provide the services. It will provide the resources, so we can store the data, right? So for example, sorry, simple. For example point of view, treat like server. You can treat like a kitchen. In kitchen, generally we are preparing the food, right? So customer like a clients, you can treat like a customer. For example, if you take a restaurant, right? We have a kitchen and customers, right? Customers you can treat like a client, all right? Kitchen you can treat like a server. In kitchen we are preparing the food. Same like in server actually preparing this and server having the data. So we are delivering that whatever the clients actually requesting that order or whatever the client actually trying to get, right? So simple, the request actually goes to the server, and based upon the client need, it will give the response. But this client don't need to know how the things actually store or how the things actually cooked in the kitchen. They just make a request, right? So customer actually just order the food, right? He don't know, right? In the kitchen, the way of preparing the everything, he don't know, right? He just make a request and order the food. Same like client, right? Make a request, right? And trying to get the data from the database. That's it. That's it. Generally, in real world, there are different types of servers available, like a web servers, application servers, database servers, file servers, mail servers. But majority server means we are storing something, right? We are storing something. So here we are talking about the database server. So here we are talking about the database. Basics is mandatory, guys. Even though if you have the advanced concepts, right? Basics actually important. So database servers means simple. Here we are store the data and manage the data by using database systems like MySQL, Oracle, something. Okay. The main role of this servers means, okay, it will handle the client request. It will provide the resources actually. Right here we have options to manage the security. Right. The way of performance point of view, right? Every cloud, right? So normally we have a on-premises, right? So on-premises means, so the on-premise actually belongs to the respective companies, respective clients, right? In the on-premises point of view, we have a capability for doing a lot of things, right? So in the cloud actually offering the same thing, but cloud will be take care of the operating backend. So based upon our usage, right? We are paying the amount, the performance, right? The security, right? The way of providing the resources, scalability, workload, scale up, scale down, everything will be given by the nowadays clouds only, right? Instead of taking all the headaches while using the on-premises. So cloud actually offering all those things into the one place. See, in simple here, while creating the Azure SQL, right? Here, cloud actually offering the plenty of things into the one places. The security, the way of connectivity, right? And based upon the environments like a dev or QA or UAT or productions, right? Based upon our workloads, cloud actually offering the plenty of things into the one places, right? SQL concepts is same into the on-premises level and cloud level, but only futures actually different. The management actually different. On-premises point of view, so we are the one taking the responsibility for end to end. But cloud point of view, cloud actually giving the things into the one place based upon our users, we are going to pay the amount. That's it. Okay. So here we are creating the database, right? While creating the database, mandatory we need a server, right? Server actually having the database actually having the tables actually having the data in the form of rows and columns. Once the data is available table, we are writing SQL queries and we are gonna do the some insertions, updations, deletions, some CRUD operations we are gonna doing on top of the tables. Okay, right. Let me create this SQL Server and we'll do some lab. SQL resource.
I have a question, sir.
Please, please.
On-premises server means when we are doing the data factory things like on premises, we are going to set up the server on our local machine. So that means the on-premises server.
Can you please come again? So your on-premises having the SQL Server, and we have Azure Data Factory available in cloud. So may I know the next need, please?
Yeah. So when we are creating the server with the help of Azure service, that is basically on the cloud. But when we are
Correct.
doing the server setup on my local machine, that will become count as a on premises. Okay.
No, actually, IDE tools different. Okay, IDE means integrated development environments. Okay,
Yeah.
right. With the help of this IDE tools, right, we are gonna write the development. We are gonna do the development. We are writing the code. Right. Your source system or either cloud or anything. Okay, your relational database management may be set into the on-premises or your relational database management system to the cloud anyway. But if you have a proper access, right? If you have a proper access in on-premises, we have a ID tools available, SQL Server Management Studio, right? With the help of this ID tools only, we are gonna connect your on-premises relational database management system, SQL Server. Even though cloud also in local laptop also, either your office laptop or else even personal laptop. For example, this portal belongs to me only, not related to my office. This portal actually belongs to me only. In my personal system, right, you can download the SQL Server Management Studio, and with the help of this SQL Server Management Studio, I'm gonna connect this SQL database in my local for CRUD operations, for inserting, updating, writing SQL queries. Okay. With the help of ID tools, we can connect the SQL Server within the on-premises or else cloud also. Cloud itself, we have options to directly connect this one. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. But in case if your SQL Server actually in your rated to your office one, but in laptop, if you are trying to give the details, right, it will we are getting the access related issues. Okay, that access will be provided by the admin team.
Yeah. So yeah, in this case, we are creating a server on on Azure service, but like on premises means like we are it as our local as a server. Like
Sorry,
when we're
your voice
doing
is breaking. Can you please repeat again? In on-premises?
yeah, in the case of on premises, we are creating a server. We are not just copying the server from the
We are not
Azure.
gonna touch anything. First of all, we are not gonna touch the on-premises. Means We are not creating, we are not updating, we are not deleting anything into the on-premises. On-premises, we have a separate team is there. The team will be take care of that part. Here, our requirement is whatever the on-premises having the database, we have a schema. That data we need to move it into the cloud. Once the data actually landing into the cloud, here we have a having the right access to whatever you want, you can do it in the cloud. But in on-premises, we don't have permissions to touch into anything inside. We are just moving from here to here with the help of this ETL.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Others, any questions? Okay, right. Database. Okay, for example, TestDB. Server name. Okay, day one. First server something. So we need a region. So SQL Server authentication. Generally, on-premises people actually will prefer the normal SQL authentication, but in reality, we are going to work with the Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, we have Active Directory. One service is there into the Azure. With the help of that Active Directory, who are part of that Azure Active Directory. So without any username and password, directly we are going to connect the SQL Server. Tell the SQL authentication and provide the username and password. Right. So Elastic Pool. Right. While creating the SQL Server, here we have a options available. Right. See Elastic Pool and the workload environments also available. Okay. Right. So this is the benefits actually we are getting while working with the cloud. If you take any cloud, guys, so if you take any cloud, so we have options to create the SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, right, Cosmos DB, MongoDB, right, all are available here. Right, even though we have a option virtual missions, EC2 instances, options available, you can create one mission. In that mission, you can install this SQL Server or else MySQL. Right, already yesterday concept related Data Factory. In the Data Factory, our source system on-premises SQL Server only. Right, directly I just install the on-premises SQL Server. Our setup belongs to SQL Server only. The tables, right, the metadata, everything will be there into the on-premises. Fine. Right. See here, while creating the SQL databases, we have an Elastic Pool option is available. This Elastic Pool actually one of the future, guys, means when we are, if you want to allow the multiple databases, if you want to share the resources like SE, generally within the service, we can create multiple databases, correct or not? A server,
Yes,
in
sir.
server, are we going to create one database or multiple databases?
Multiple database.
Right. So in server, I have a multiple databases, but here we are means here we are creating the server. Server means here the server actually having the CPU and memory, right? Correct or not? Generally, Windows laptop having the this compute details, right? CPU memory. Same like this server actually having the CPU and memory, right? For example, in my server, I have plenty of databases available, right? I want to share the underlying CPU and underlying memory to the all these databases. I want to share it. So instead of giving to the only one, right? I want to share these underlying resources into the multiple databases, right? Multiple database for sharing the resources. But cost is different, guys. Cost is different. If you select the no point of view, cost is somewhat is low. If you select the yes point of view, the cost is somewhat is high. Okay. Next, we have a workload environments. So development point of view. If you are planning to do any testing, if you are, for example, you and me guys are new to this data engineer, right? Here we are trying to create the SQL databases and we are trying to learn the new things. For learning point of view, for testing point of view, for building any apps, applications point of view, development is the recommended one. Development actually recommended one, but development cost is very cheaper, guys. Very, very cheap. Okay, but here we have a production options available. Okay, productions is more expensive. It's more fast actually. actually, right? For example, I have a real world application is there, right? I have a real world some users is there. Okay, there we have some e-commerce based applications or any banking related applications. Okay, that application is actually trying to load the main workloads into the prod environment. Prod or a production, both are same. Okay, but production cost is very expensive. Okay, so and once if you store the data into the production, so here we have options to retrieve the data in a very fast manner, because this cost is different, development cost is different. Production storages, compute options is different, development options actually different. Okay, and next one, while creating the SQL Server, right, underlying we need to provide the compute and storage. Compute and storage. Here, Azure actually automatically, right, offering the lot of compute and storage is available here. This is the by default one. Okay, this is the by default one. In case if you want to change, for example, if you are planning to buy a laptop, guys, right? Once if you are visited into the laptop service center something, okay, there are plenty of laptops available, like a i4, right? So i3, i5, 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, right? There are plenty of systems available, right? Based upon your usage, based upon your cost, we are gonna select that system, right? Same like based upon our workloads, we are gonna configure these compute and storage. Blindly, we are not gonna select anything. So before beginning of the project, there is a documentation is there. The documentation having the agreement between the your resources and to the cloud related systems. Agreement means that the agreement actually having the your architecture, the storage details, compute details, the server details, application details, right? The front end SLA details, everything. So once if you get the approval from the respective client, then only we can start the actual implementations. Okay, configure the database here. Here they are offering the two things. Okay, and even though inside we have a options under the vCore, we have a option 7. So this one actually most friendly budget, right? In case if you have a critical related environment, right, we have options to select it. So we have a per second wise we here they are offering the options. For hour wise also here we have a options. Okay, see if I select the hour wise, the cost see very high. If I select the serverless, right, second wise, for example, I just use this server 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So based upon our users, 5 minutes, 10 minutes only, they are going to charge the amount. For example, hour wise, right? They are going to charge the hour wise. In case if I'm using this server within the 30 minutes only, but they are going to charge the hour wise amount. Okay, so depends upon our budget. Here we have options to select these details. Same like if you take any laptop, so underlying we have a hardware configurations details, right? Same here also same. Okay, and next redundancy options. I guess already I explained the redundancy options. High availability, the way of storing the data, right? Here they are offering the plenty of things. If in case if something is going wrong with the data center, right? If you want to take the rollback, sorry, if you want to maintain the high availability, always your data master should be high available. Okay, for this reason, they are offering the plenty of things. So within the data center, multiple data centers, multiple regions, here we have options to select the redundancy. Next, networking. So already told you, right? While working with the SQL Server, security is a very, very important. The way of connectivity is very, very important. Right. So if you select the private endpoint, so who are part of that IP address range? For example, here IP address range is some 10 IPs, 10 IP address. Our data engineering team size 10 members, right? Each and every member having some IP, right? Who are part of that IP address range? Those people can able to connect this SQL database securely and privately. Anyway, this private endpoint will be taken care by the admin team. Simple private endpoint means IP address. Generally, every system having the public IP and private IP address, right? Right? Public means the Google only understand the public request, right? So if you take personal laptop or office laptop, right? Internal work, it will understand only private request, right? Private endpoint means private IP address. Over part of that specific range IP address, only those people can able to connect this one very secure manner. That is the reason networking goes to the important row. So anyway, we are a data engineer, guys. We are not going to create these resources anyway. Once you enter into the project, everything will be there. But at the time of attending the interview, at the time of taking the KT, right, while working with our day-to-day projects on end, if you want to know end-to-end process, if you are planning to go in like a team lead level or else architect level, you need to know all those things end-to-end process. Okay, while designing our architecture, right? So while at the time of attending the multiple teams, right? Either on-site or offshore or different companies' teams, right? You need to know about the end-to-end flow. If something is going wrong with anything, right? You need to know about this complete end-to-end flow, right? If you know about all the services, the everything underlying the basics, the flow, right? Then you can easily understand the project flow, right? You are going to give the exact the solutions. That is the reason. Next, security. Okay, so here they are giving some security options. So I'm planning to go with not now only. I don't want to go with the free trial anyway. So this configuration is fine for me. In case in SQL, in case if you have a backup is there, if you want to take the backup into the here we have a backup option server. Anyway, this part will be taken care by the admin team. First, let me create the SQL server. Create.
So the admin team is also responsible for the compute plus storage section.
Yes.
Okay. So compute is basically the virtual machine, the parallel virtual machine which is used for the who basically process the data, like in the backend or something. And storage is
Correct.
something different, which is store the data.
Correct. We are a data engineer. First of all, we are not going to create these things. First of all, based upon our workloads, we are going to write like providing the how much data value we need to store it here. For example, source is a SQL server. So here, first you need to understand this your SQL source, the data volume, the schema, how much data volume we are expecting from regular basis. So based upon that workload, right, we need to decide the either relational database management system or a data warehouse. If you decide either relational database management database, we need to give the right compute, right storages, and we need to provide the auto scaling on also. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And before anyway, it will take some time. And I'm planning to start the normalization concepts. Very, very important interview question. So anyway, here we are creating the databases. We have a server obviously having the database. In database, we are storing the data, right? Here we need to understand the database designs. Means the way of designing your databases, the logical one, the way of storing process, right? How your data, the way of looking, right? So while storing the data into the tables, right? So we need to give the proper design process. So we need to identify the entities. You need to decide their attributes, right? We need to define the relations between the either one-to-one or a one-to-many or a many-to-many, right? So based upon this, first of all, guys, you need to know about the few things. Then only we'll decide the design. First, we need to identify the entities. Normal SQL basics is different, but at the time of working with the data engineer projects, okay. So if anyone actually familiar about the SQLs, if you take help from any w3school.com, any chat GPT or any other things, right? We have a SQL concepts is there. We have a solutions available, right? We can simply take it. But before doing these things, first you need to understand the design. You need to understand the existing one. You need to understand the your cloud related design. Okay, right. First, you need to identify the entities. Entities means simple tables, like for example, student table, and we have it, and maybe course tables, maybe order tables. So entity means simple tables. First, you need to identify the tables. Next, you need to identify the attributes. Okay, identify the attributes. So attributes means simple columns, like a name column, ID column, price column. Okay, next part, we need to define the relationships. We need to define the relationships, right? So we need to define the relations between multiple tables, like a one-to-one table, maybe one-to-many, sometimes many-to-many. Okay, so based upon these factors, we need to decide the database designs. So this relation database management system actually gives the two types of designs. One is very important questions, normalization and denormalization. Okay, normalization, and we have a denormalization. Okay, normalization and denormalization. So normalization means simple. Is we are organizing the data, right? We are organizing the data into smaller level, simple. Okay, so mainly the databases design means the way of organizing. In normalization point of view, denormalization point of view, we are designing the data. But the way of design either smaller or else larger. So based upon that, we need to choose these two things. These two things actually having the plenty of differences. So based upon our need, we need to decide either normalization or a denormalization. Okay, so simple here we are organizing the data into small. Okay, in smaller, simple. Right, the main intention of the normalization, please note these points. Anyway, I will share the notes. Here, reduce the redundancy. Anyone know about the meaning of the redundancy? The word?
Duplicates.
Very good. Duplicate data. Are you guys are planning to maintain the duplicated data or no? Okay, so here we need to reduce the redundancy. We are reducing the duplicated data and improve the consistency. Meaning of consistency? Those are general terms. Consistency.
Data should be
Data
same
should
from
Data
should be same from means start to end, means during the extraction or import.
Okay,
the
right.
logic should I think the logic should be make sense. Like whatever the data logic is applied on the data should be same after perform any operation or something.
Right. How about data integrity? Integrity. Meaning of integrity. Anyone? Simple. Data integrity means while working with the data, right? Like, for example, our data must and should be correct, guys. Right? Our data must and should be not corrupted. Okay, data must and should be safe, and data must and should goes to the complete mode and from the source to the target. And always your data is correct and complete and not corrupted. So that we can call it as a data integrity, simple. Okay, for example, there is a student database, guys. The student database having the, there is a table. Okay, the table actually having the student ID, name and age. So here student ID is always unique. Name always number. Age, age always number. Name is not empty. Okay, here those are comes under the data integrity. Always unique. Okay, right. So normalization point of view, here we are, whatever the data is there, right? The data actually we are trying to make it into the smaller one. Okay, that comes under the normalization part. Okay, instead of maintaining the big tables, right? We are trying to maintain into the multiple tables. Okay, fine. So for example, I have a table, student table, right? This student table actually having the columns like a student ID, student name, student course, some instructor. There are plenty of columns available here. Okay, so instead of maintaining all the columns into the one table, here I'm gonna separate into the two tables. Okay, for example, this student ID and student name and course ID comes under the one table, and again the course ID and course and instructor comes under the another table. Okay, the reason, if I'm maintaining the multiple tables instead of putting into the one table, if I'm maintaining the multiple tables, then there is no duplicates. For example, here we have instructor, maybe Kiran, right, Abhi, something Rakesh. There are plenty of instructors available. My intention, there is no duplicate instructor names. Okay, even though one of the instructor actually changed on respect to department, I need to update only one's point of view. Okay, that is the reason. So we are splitting the large table into the smaller table. Mainly normalization means here we are eliminating the redundancy. So here we are avoiding the same data multiple times. Instead of storing the same data into the databases, here we are avoiding. Here completely we are avoiding the same data for multiple times. Okay, so and the data consistency means, for example, if you do any changes into the one place, it will reflect it to the everywhere. I have a multiple tables, right? If I did some changes in one place, it will reflect it into the everywhere. Okay, and maintenance also easy, guys. We can easily insert, we can easily update, we can easily delete correct one only. Okay, and if you maintain the smaller table, right, instead of maintaining the large table, if you maintain the smaller table, and the storage cost also, we are going to save it. So that is the benefits actually we are getting while working with the normalization concepts. Clear? Before discussing about the normal forms, yeah, please.
Yeah, but maintaining the like large number of small table, it will increase the cost. Like we have to join the two table. Like it will reduce the like when we have to get the information from different table, and when we are maintaining different like multiple small data set, uh, it like it will increase the cost. Like when we have to join two data set or multiple data set, like.
Then go with the denormalization, right? That is the reason they are offering two things, right? So based upon the data, you need to decide. If you have a multiple tables, right? Agree. I agree. Whatever you said, I agree. If you have a large, very huge amount of tables is there, small tables only, plenty of tables is there. At the time of combining the plenty of tables, then definitely, right? Maybe some development point of somewhat you may feel headache, and some storage smaller table only, right? We don't see much cost point of view. Then we go with the denormalization. So instead of joining the multiple tables into the one, we can, instead of here, we are maintaining the multiple tables right here, but in denormalization, simply, we can merge all those things into the one table. Right? For example, I want to retrieve the query in very fast manner. Okay, your point of view, there is a reporting tool is there. The reporting tool trying to connect this relational database management system. We have a plenty of tables available. While writing the query, we need to join all those things at the time of giving the output, right? Obviously, it's taking some time, the way of writing query and getting it. Okay. If I apply the denormalization, right? So I'm going to write one query, right? Directly, the query will be connected to the relational database management system. I'm going to take the data. That's it. It's up to you. Okay. So that is the reason. First, you need to identify your business. You need to identify the business. What type of approach we need to follow? How many tables actually we are gonna create it here? Either 10 or a 20 or a 30. The maintenance, the consistency, the redundancy, right? And you need to think about always you need to think about the endpoint point of view only, guys, not a development point of view. You need to think about while designing, especially team lead or else architect level, we are going to think about the end user point of perspective only. Normally, a data engineer or a senior data engineer, they are going to work on day-to-day user stories point of view. But at the time of work with the team lead or else architect, always you need to think about the end user perspective. Okay, based upon this end user, the way of usage, the way of business outcome, you need to decide this approach. Either normalization or else denormalization. Either multiple tables, fewer tables. Because you need to understand your source, the schemas, the tables, the data, what exactly this business looking here, the way of reporting tools, right? So based upon this, all the factors, we need to decide either normalization or else denormalization. So that is the reason first time, a few minutes back only, I told you, right? You need to identify the entities, you need to identify the attributes, either you need to understand the relationships, either one-to-one, many-to-many, right? One-to-many. Based upon these factors, we need to decide. Okay, right. Anyway, in normalization point of view, we have some normal forms available. And no need for just understanding point of view only. First normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. Okay, in the first normal form, here there is no repeating columns. Understood? Even though while working with the normalization, right, here we have a normal forms available. We have a tables, right? We are storing the data, either small tables or a large tables. For example, consider small tables, right? Here, if you select the first normal forms, means there is we are not going to repeating the columns. Okay, so here every cell has one value only. I hope you guys are aware of the meaning of cell. Cell. General Excel sheet having the cells, right? Every cell actually having one value. While working with the first normal form, this is the few. This is the mandatory things you need to know about. Okay. So, and anyway, I will explain the constraint concepts. We have a constraints is there. We can call it as a rules. Okay, I don't want to maintain the duplicates. I don't want to allow the null values, right? We have a constraints available, like a first primary key, foreign key, right? Check one, right? Unique. There are constraints available. Okay, in case in your table actually having the primary key. Primary key, can you please confirm, is this primary key allowing the duplicates or not? Anyone?
No duplicates.
Oh.
Right. How about foreign key? How about unique key? Common interview question, the difference between primary key and unique key. At the time of L1, if you are planning to give the SQL interview, right, you need to know about this basics, important. Primary key versus unique key.
So primary key is a unique key which did not contain any null value, while the foreign key contains the null value and it acts as a primary key in the second some second table or something other
It
table.
can having duplicates. The foreign key can have duplicates, I think.
Simple foreign key means there is a simple relationship only. Okay, right. In second normal form point of view, okay, so we are applying this normal forms to the table symbol. We are applying this normal forms to the table. Okay, so generally tables actually having the primary key, right? Every non-key attributes actually depends upon this whole primary key. That's it. Okay, so just leave it this third normal form. Okay, so here this non-key actually depends upon only one key, guys, not a whole key, only one key, third normal form. So next one is denormalization. Denormalization, simply we can say opposite of the normalization. Opposite of the normalization. Here we are maintaining the multiple tables, right? So here we are combining the related tables into one table for improving the speed performance point of view. Okay, but here it causes some redundancy, guys. Okay, here we are combining the multiple tables Here we have options to combine the multiple tables, but here we can expect some redundancy. Here we can expect some redundancy. Okay. Mainly denormalization, increase the query speed. For example, data is available in databases. So we have some Power BI reporting team is there. They are trying to directly connecting into your destination, relational database management system or a data warehouse. Okay. So here, if you use the denormalization means we are writing only few joins only, not a huge joins. If you select the normalization, we are going to write plenty of joins because we have a plenty of tables. Right, plenty of tables. But if you select the denormalization means only few joins. So if you write only few joins at the time of generating the reports by using the Power BI to connect your relational database management system, the speed is very fast. The reason your logic actually having only few joins only. That is the reason here we are expecting the speed in very fast manner. For analytical purpose, reporting point of view, denormalization is the best recommended one. Okay, right. Tell them when we go for normalization, when we go for denormalization, simple, you can raise only few points, guys, instead of giving the theoretical point, right? So normalization, first actually they will start the database design. What is database design and what is the difference between normalization and denormalization? Important interview question. In case if you are not giving the answer related to these basics like a primary key versus a unique key, normalization one versus denormalization, and joins and each and every join usage, Windows, especially common table expressions and Windows function, those are very, very important. Okay. So here the first thing is what is database design and what type of designs available here. Database design means simple, the way of organizing the data. How exactly you are planning to see the data, the way of structure of designing. We have two things available. One is normalization, second one is denormalization. In normalization point of view, here we have options to create a lot of tables we can create it. Instead of putting the data into one table, right, we can maintain the data into the multiple tables. Here we can have, here we are going to reduce the redundancy, right? And denormalization means it is opposite of the normalization. Instead of maintaining the, instead of maintaining the multiple tables, we can merge the multiple tables into the one table. This denormalization best useful while working with the analytical and dashboards. Analytical dashboards means Power BI, right? The Synapse analytical one, right? The Databricks analytical one, right? Mainly those are reporting point of view, right? If you are planning to use the reporting tool means the speedness is very important. If you use the denormalization, we have only few joins so that we can expect the data in very fast manner. So there is a difference between normalization and denormalization.
Denormalization is also we use when we have to maintain the history data, like history data concept something.
We can maintain it. In both cases, we can maintain it. Here you need to think about the only cost point of view. Okay. And this one of I forgot to tell you, OLTP, online transaction processing point of view, normalization. Okay. OLAP, reporting point of view, denormalization.
Okay.
Right. And in denormalization, there is a duplicates. We can expect some duplicates.
What is the difference for unique and foreign key? Like they're like different, but
I will explain.
okay.
Still we are in normalization. First, let me discuss about the server and database tables creations. After that, we'll discuss. Right. Let me set up the firewall. Add these firewall rules. Save. Click on one step, copy the server, paste it here. And let me provide the username and password. Click on right, click on new query. Right. Anyway, by default, master available. Don't touch master. Select your right database. My database testDB. In case if you want, you can create your own database. Create database. Okay. New testDB. New testDB. Database creation syntax. Okay. Executing query. Why it's taking time? Okay. Meanwhile, let me create a table. Database actually having the table. Okay. Table syntax, create table. For example, student table. Student table. Okay. Right. Table obviously having the right columns. Student ID. Right. Student ID. So every column actually having the data types. Okay. Data types means while storing the data into the databases, we have a rows and columns, right? Okay. And maybe, for example, one of the column name. So I want to store only names only. It allow only names only. There is age. I want to enter only age numbers only, like integer. Okay. Right. Student ID, integer. Int means integer. So here we can add the constraints. For example, primary key. Anyway, I will explain the primary keys. Primary key, right? Comma. Next name. So name. So we have a the column you can give the character, where character or when character. Simple like programming point of view, you can call it as a string. For example, n where character. So in name point of view, the way of storing the your name, how much words you are planning to, the letters you are planning to give it. Either 10, for example, Shravan, 5 numbers, maybe 10, the word count may be 10, maybe 50, up to it supports to 50, for example, 50. Generally name not more than 50, right? 50 letters. Next, age, integer. Okay, and course and where character. Okay, there is a difference is there. I will explain the difference between character and where character and when character. Okay, but anyway, all are belongs to the storing the strings only. Okay, copy and execute. Copy and execute. Okay, test review only executed. Fine, no worries. In case if you want to execute your tables on particular database, here you can use the use. You can provide your database name. Okay, you can provide your database name. Expand it here. New test DB, for example, new test DB. Okay, just provide your database name and execute your scripts on particular database level. Anyway, This script, anyway, this table already executed under the testDB, right? Primary key means I want to store the only unique data only, okay, right? Now I want to insert the data. Anyway, already we discussed at the time of full load and incremental load. Let me explain. Insert, okay, insert query, insert into, right? We are trying to insert the data into the tables. The table name, student table name. So in case if you want, you can pass the all columns here, okay? Or else you can leave it and you can pass it here. Generally, pass the your column names, student ID, name, right? And age, and column name pose. Workshop means I'm gonna explain the each and everything in detail, guys. Maybe already told you, right? Most of the folks are already aware of this SQL basics, but few of them actually not aware of the even though basics. As a trainer responsibility, I need to explain all the basics on end to end. Next, values. These keyword must and should come. Values. Here you need to provide the data. Here you need to provide your data. For example, student ID 1. Okay, no need to provide any single quote. So only the character point of view, we need to provide the single quotes. All right. Alice, the name Alice maybe. Okay, and age, student ID, name, age. Okay, 18, and the course, right? Azure Data Engineer, for example, ADE, Azure Data Engineer. Okay, so this is the way you need to insert the data. In case if you have a multiple, if you are planning to store it, right, you need to write one more. Okay, right, one more thing you need to write, just to mention the comma. Okay, and start writing the next one. For example, 2, and remove this one. Process values. Maybe John, integer 20, quotes. Okay, maybe DevApps. Like the way you can write the insert queries. Execute. This one insert. I want to view the data. Whatever I just insert the data into the tables, I want to view the data. Simple select statement. Select star from table name. Select star from table name. Star means it will display the all the columns. In case if you want to see the only specific columns, no need to give the star, just pass the columns names. For example, student ID. Next only name. Okay, just to provide the column names. Right, one of the optimization techniques at the time of in interview, one of the important interview question optimization techniques. Okay, so tell them avoid the, while writing the select statements, obviously we need to avoid the star. Select the star table name, right? We need to avoid the star. Okay, whatever the columns you want, just pass that columns. Select means, right, it simple filtering the data. Okay, instead of seeing all the data, either if you want to come full table data, or else only specific table of data, you can use the select statement and pass the column names, and from keyword you need to provide it. Okay, student. Execute. Right, this one belongs to the, if you want to view the data, you need to write a select statement. And I want to update some columns. I want to update some specific column. Okay, write update statement. Update. Right. After update, provide the table name. Here, there is a keyword called set keyword. Mandatory, you need to provide the set keyword while writing the update. Okay, right. there is a column called age. Take the age. Okay, I want to update something 25 age. Okay, so here student, right? Select star from student. Let me take from student. Right. So here course, let me take one column. I want to update the ADE either, even though if you want take the ID column also. Anyway, already AD is there, right? For example, AWS DevOps. I want to update the age and the course columns. Okay, instead of AD, let me update the AWS DevOps. Okay, where now it's time to provide the right where exactly which student ID you are planning to update. For example, I want to update the right student one record. Okay, in student one, I want to update the age column and the course. So this is the way you need to write a update statement. Simple update. Okay, execute. Select start from student. See, successfully we update it. Okay, now I want to delete some student ID. Okay, delete from provide the table name where, for example, student ID equal to 2. Execute. One row affected successfully, even though it will display the timestamp as well. Select star from student. We have only one record is available. And important entry question, difference between delete and drop. Delete and drop. Okay, so I want to drop the table. I want to delete the old table, guys. I want to delete the old table. Okay, drop table name. Here you need to use the table keyword. Drop table name. Okay, execute. Select start from student. Right, there is no student columns. There is no student table. Okay, so creating. Here we are creating the table and inserting the data. So if you want to view the data, you can use the select statement. This is the one belongs to updating the data. While writing the update query, you need to provide the set keyword, right? How many columns you are planning to update? Just pass the column names, comma, and which ID you are planning to update. Just pass the right main one. Okay, here you need to provide the column name, right? Which student you are planning to update. So this is the way you need to write a delete statement. Okay, for deleting specific record. And if you want to drop the student table completely, right, use the students. So use the drop. Any questions? Okay.
Is
So guys,
there
please take
anything? Is there
mhm.
anything like alter that we use here too, or is it something I am missing?
Yeah, there is a truncate option is there, right?
Yeah, truncate
Alter.
option is there for do the
Alt.
rollback.
Okay.
Okay. Even though you can use the alter one. Right, guys, take the 2 or 3 minutes for break. We'll connect again.
Anyone there?
Yes, I'm not able to hear the voice of Shravan. Anybody is facing the problem?
Yeah,
It's-
tutor on break. You're on
Yeah.
break for a few minutes.
Okay,
Here, 2 minutes break.
okay. Thank you.
Right. I'm back. Right. Now it's time to discuss about the constraints. So constraints means rules. Okay, constraints means rules. Anyway, we have a relational database management system that we have a tables, right? Table actually having the data, right? Rows. So topic is constraints. Constraints. Here we are applying the rules, simple, right? We are applying the rules. The rules we can apply to the column level or else table level. Column level or else table level, so that we can control the data. What type of data here we are going to store it, right? So we have options to control it while using the constraint concepts, right? So constraints mainly useful for data integrity point of view. Always our data master should be consistent manner. Okay, the accuracy. So that point of view, constraints actually very, very important. Okay, right. So constraints means, for example, I don't want to store the duplicates data. I want to maintain the unique data. So data integrity also, like there is a relation between one table to another table, right? Okay, so we need to maintain the data in tables as a valid one. So that comes under the data integrity part. Okay, so there are different types of constraints available. Important one and interview questions as well. Primary key. Okay, next we have a foreign key. Right, next we have a unique and not null, and check, right? And even though we have a default, please mute. Okay, so there are almost 6 constraints available while working with the relational database management systems. Okay, the very first one is primary key. So primary key means here each and every record must and should be unique, guys, and there is no null. Okay, each record in a table is unique. This is a very, very important condition, and plus not null. Not null. Okay, right. Generally, every table actually having only one primary key. Okay, every table, right, having the only one primary key constraint only. Next one, foreign key. Foreign key. For example, I have multiple tables, guys. Employee table, simple. Employee table and department table. Majority of the folks are already aware of it. So we have employee table and a department table. So I want to provide the relation between the two tables. So ensure the data, right, must and should be, there is a relation between point of view. Okay. So we have a foreign key is there, so that with alpha foreign key, we can establish the relation between multiple tables. Okay. So here we have a options to provide the relationships between the tables. Okay. Right. Next, we have a unique. So in the foreign key, one more point. Generally, we have a values, right? So here in both tables, foreign key means here we are establishing the relation between both tables, right? So what I can say, the value in one table must exit in the another one. So that is the point while working with the foreign key. And a unique key. So here all the values in columns actually different. Here different. But in primary key actually not allowing the null values, but unique actually allowing one null value. Okay, right. Same unique primary key, both are giving the uniqueness. Okay, but here we have options to expect the null value. Null. Okay, but can be null ones here while working with the unique. Okay, simple. No to, for example, there is employee table, guys. Employee table actually having the employee ID and email and a name. So here, while working with the unique, no two employees can have the same email address, right? That one. And we have not null. So here, column actually cannot be left empty, simple. Okay, so I will show you. For example, I have a department table. This department table actually having the department ID and department name. Every department must and should be must and have the name, no blank values here. For example, HR department, IT department, some departments is there. Every department must have a name. Okay, column cannot be left empty. Simple, not null. And next we have a check constraints. Check constraints. So simple. For example, I have a product table. Okay, there is a product table. Here, the product table actually having the product ID and the product name and the price. Okay, product price. Price means obviously there are different prices. This product price maybe must always be greater than 0. Right? So generally, while writing the table, so we are defining in this manner. For example, decimal. Treat like I'm creating the table, create a table product. Okay. Create table name is product table. Here I have a columns like ID column, name column, and the price. So there is a decimals. Right? I hope you are aware of the decimal, right? For example, 10,2. I want to check here. I'm applying this condition. The price greater than 0. The product price must always be greater than 0. Hope you got it or not. Check constraints. Please confirm. You guys are aware of the greater than meaning, right? The product price must always be greater than 0. So here we are going to write some specific condition, guys. Check means simple. We are going to write some specific conditions. Same like we have even this price is there. I just apply some conditions here. You can treat like check constraint. Check. Here I'm applying the check. Got it or not? Please confirm.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Next to default one. Right here, same like I have a order table. Most of the folks already aware of primary key, foreign key, unique, but few of them actually not aware of the not null check. That is the reason I'm taking some examples of the tables. For example, there is a table called order table. All right, in order table, same create table, order. Here I have some columns like a order ID. So order ID having these some primary key, can treat like a primary key something. Okay, and we have a quantity is there. Right, for example, default, I just apply the 1. Here I'm using the default one, I just apply the 1, and there is a column called status, maybe when where character. Let me give the 20. Default, right? Status is pending. Okay, here I'm using the default. Here I'm applying the default to the quantity column and status column. If you do not specify any value for the quantity, it becomes 1 automatically, guys. If you don't set status, it becomes pending. Got it or not? For example, status, generally we have a success, running, failed, something. If you're not specifying anything, right, while inserting the data, if you're not specifying anything status, by default, it will take the pending. So this is the way we need to create an order table. Just next, we are going to write insert statement or not. We are inserting the value into the order table or not. I have a order table, guys. Next, the table, once the table creation is done, next I'm going to I'm inserting the data, right? While inserting the data, in case if I'm not specifying the quantity and status, by default, it will take 1 and by default, it will take pending. In case if you want, you can provide the status running, success, failure, something. If you're not specifying anything, it will take by default values. You got it or not? Default.
Got it.
Default values. Here we are going to provide the default values. Right. Any questions? Let me show in practical. So create table. There is a table called courses table. We have a course ID. Obviously, the columns actually having the data types. And next we have a primary key. Okay, course ID, primary key here in the course table. And next we have a course name. N var character or var character, your wish. 50. Okay, this one belongs to the course table. And I have one more table, create table. Table name is enrollments. Okay, there is a table called enrollments. Right, students actually trying to do the enrolling for the respective courses. Right, for example, every student having some enroll IDs, enrollment IDs, integer. Here, this one comes under the primary key. Okay, next we have a student IDs here, student ID, integer. Next we have a course ID, same. In course table we have a course ID. In enrollment table also there is a course ID. Okay, right. In both tables, right, respective table actually having the respective IDs. The respective ID comes into the primary key. Some of the people actually think like in the course table, this is a course ID, we can treat like a primary key. Here also we have a course ID. They're going to treat like a here course ID. No, enrollment table actually having the enrollment ID. That comes into the primary key here. Okay, each and every table having own primary keys, and in this table, course ID is available. In this table also course ID available. So here we have options to provide the relationship, both having the same column. Okay, so here you can define the foreign key. Okay, through the coding level. Here I'm writing the syntax. Here I'm writing the SQL syntax, guys. So graphical also we have options to create a tables. Okay, right. Foreign key. Foreign key. Right. In which column you are trying to foreign key? Course ID. Take that course ID. So just to provide the references actually. References in which table? Course table. So 1 minute. Okay. So reference, you can just pass the course name, the table name, sorry, courses. So here also we have a column, right? Course ID in both tables, right? Having the common column. Okay. So like the way we are going to establish the relation between both tables. Execute. Right. Graphical manner also we have options to create it, guys. I just apply the refresh button. Any questions here?
If we have a multiple foreign key in a enrollment table, so we just pass the foreign key one by one, like referencing the table from where it's coming, the primary key.
Sorry, can you please come again? In the enrollment table?
So in the enrollment table, we have multiple foreign key. Okay.
Okay.
So in the same way which we pass for the course ID, we can pass for the multiple.
Yes, same.
Okay.
Same references, we need to pass it here. But make sure other tables, whatever the tables having the common matching column, right? Those common columns must and should be there into the enrollments. Okay. In your enrollment tables, actually having the other tables as ID columns, then you are eligible to add the foreign key references. For example, there is order table is there. The order table actually order ID. The order ID also must and should be there into the here only. Then only you can establish the foreign key, order ID, reference of the order table, order ID.
Okay.
Okay.
We can have multiple foreign keys
Yes.
in the table,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But every table actually having only one primary key, and we can maintain multiple foreign keys in a table.
Thank you.
Okay. Same way, you can write the insert statements. Okay, you can write some insert statements into the course tables and enrollment tables, and you can update the data. Okay, you can delete the data also. Any other questions, others, please? Okay, right. So far, we discussed about the relational database management introduction part and the tools and the difference between servers and databases and tables, rows and columns, the normalization and denormalizations, and when we go for normalization, when we go for denormalizations, and constraints like primary key, foreign key, unique key, and not null, right? Default one. Okay. And there are plenty of concepts there into the here. Next, we have a majority joins. Next, I'm planning to go with the joins. Okay. The join syntaxes, inner join, left join, right join, self join. Okay. So next, my planning is, especially joins, I'm going to spend a lot of time, guys. Okay, there are different types of joins available, like inner join. First, I will explain you what is join, what is the purpose, inner join, and a left join, and a right join, and full join, and self join. We have a cross join is available, but no need. Self join and cross join. So in the joins point of view, right, we'll do some more labs because at the time of attending the interviews, we are expecting the questions, majority of the questions belongs to the joins only. The interviewers actually, they will give some tables. The tables actually having some data, right? They will ask, some people's actually asking to write a queries, like just write a inner query syntax, left join, right join, okay? But nowadays, people's actually asking the count of the tables. For example, there are two tables available. The two tables actually having the data, right? They will ask the may know the count of the inner join, count of the left join, count of the full join, and what approach left join is the recommended one. In reality, which join actually preferred? As usual, first inner join, next left join. Majority these two actually comes under the picture. In what cases actually we self join is recommended one? Okay, so next topic is joins, and even though we'll discuss about the what is inner query, what is outer query, and what is correlated subqueries, right? So the way of writing those queries we'll discuss next agenda. Once if you are good into the joins concepts, next I will start the store procedures and functions. Right? What is store procedure? The way of writing the syntax. Okay, normal procedure, the way of writing, and parameterized way of writing store procedures. Okay, and I will show you one use case. Okay, like in reality, maybe very rarely some of the people's actually asking the questions. Did you really work on store procedure? Because we are a data engineer, guys. We're not gonna much touch on the procedures. First of all, reality, very rarely. In case if you get a chance to work with the store procedure, or else at the time of attending the interviews in recent days, they are asking in what situation you got a chance to work with the store procedure, right? I will show you one lab related to the one of the real-time use case, but the lab actually taking some time, but I will come up with the lab. Okay, so the lab related to the ADF Azure Data Factory combination, and source is the SQL Server. Okay, so I'm gonna write one procedure. I will explain the procedure. So here the procedure intention is the procedure intention is in real-time projects. We are not gonna work with the one data factory pipeline. We're gonna work on multiple data factory pipelines. There are 10 or 20 or 30 data pipelines actually running. Few of them goes to the success, few of them goes to the failure. For due to auditing purpose, right? So we need to track that pipeline's information, the pipeline name, the pipeline ID, what type of trigger here the pipeline actually using, either scheduler, event based or tumbling, right? The time, the start time, end time, the run ID, right? How much time actually it is taking for completing the pipeline. So we need to capture complete our project related pipelines information. For this use case, right? I'm gonna implement one high level store procedure. The high level store procedure having the all these informations. Right? That first I will explain the procedure, the syntax. I will add that procedure into the our Azure Data Factory pipeline, into the store procedure activity. Okay, almost the procedure having the, I think, 10 to 15 columns. So a lot of dynamic expressions we need to add into that procedure. It is a highly complicated one, but we'll implement it. It will take some time. Okay, almost it will take 1 hour time, 1 hour or 1.5 hour time to finish that one. I'm planning to show you that one. Okay, for interview point of view only. So my agenda is at the time of giving the SQL interview point of view, you guys are must and should give the answer and reality manner, not a chat GPT or not a Google one, reality manner. Okay, everything at the after the session, I'm 3 workshops, guys, SQL. We can't finish these things into the 3 hours or 4 hours. It will take some time. Tomorrow also we have the same workshops related to SQL. Tomorrow I will explain the first joins. First we'll discuss the joins part, right? Joins labs, inner queries, subqueries. Next we'll discuss the store procedure and functions. Next we'll discuss the Windows functions. Okay, common table expressions and a combination of Windows functions, the row number, rank, and dense rank. And you in the interview point of view also we need to explain the row number, rank, and dense rank, not a theoretical one. So you need to take one practical example, take one table, and you need to explain. So that part we'll see by tomorrow. Tomorrow agenda, joins, and all the joins in detail explanations, the way of writing queries, and the count of all the tables, queries and subqueries, and store procedure and functions. If you have time, we'll try to finish the common table expressions and a combination of the Windows functions. And day after tomorrow, so we'll see the lab related to the auditing purpose with the help of this source procedure. In case if you are missing anything from my end, or else in your mind, if there is any concept, if you guys are looking, let me know, or else you can post that one into the chat. We'll discuss. Any questions, please?
So
Please.
tomorrow will be the ADF class.
No, I actually all the batches I'm planning to cover this SQL. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll discuss the SQL concepts. And as usual, next we have a sessions, as usual session. And coming week, and again, I'm gonna conduct the workshops related to the Python. Same Python basics. I will try to finish the Python in 2 weeks. First, next week, two days, and coming week, 2 days. Okay.
Okay, so we are focusing on
because-
SQL, Python, then we are just moved to the ADF part.
ADF, Databricks, all are those things. The reason is these two things actually base pillar. Some of the folks already started to attend the interviews, but interview point of view, SQL, Python mandatory.
Yeah,
That is the reason. Okay.
PySpark.
Anyway, we have a sessions, normal sessions related to the PySpark. At the
So
time of
PySpark-
project, right? Please let me finish. At the time of project, projects, Databricks or a GenA project, I'm gonna write all those things like a SQL concepts, Python concepts. Right. I want you guys are in same track. That is the reason these workshops. Please go ahead.
So sir, on the PySpark, we are cover the PySpark library part, all the transformation of code, basically coding part. Apart from the coding part, we also going to focus on the optimization, like how we optimize the code.
Correct.
Okay.
Optimizations like auto scaling, caching, persistence, adaptive query executions, broadcast joins, coalesce and repartitions, partitioning, everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Others?
Tomorrow the session link would be same or different?
Session belongs to the same SQL but joins concepts, coding
No,
level.
Session link, meeting link.
We'll share the new link. We'll share the new link.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna, can you please give the access of yesterday's?
Yes, already you shared it, right? You will get it.
Yeah.
Others?
So Shravan, today's session's link, when it would be available for us to review it?
Sorry, can you please come again? Today's session?
So I just joined lately, so just want to know when I can get this link for me to go through the session of today's.
Okay, you will get after 2 hours. The recording one processing, it will take more than 2 hours or something. You will get after 2 hours.
Okay, and yesterday's recording is already updated, correct?
Yes, already updated. The Data Factory project already updated, end-to-end one.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And next we have a workshop, guys. On Saturday or Sunday, we'll let you know Databricks one.
Tomorrow,
Okay.
what time the
Same time, evening.
workshop?
Evening.
Okay.
Same time.
6?
Evening 6 to. I will try to take the session 8:30 or a 9. Because those are coding level, right? Maybe it will take some time to finish.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, can you take a little bit late? Like, because
No, 6, those are fixed one. In case if there is a late from your end, you can just go through the recording one. Okay, thank you all. Thanks for joining the first workshop related to the SQL. We'll connect to tomorrow on same time. We'll discuss the next part, SQL. Thank you.
Thanks.